You guys don't need to worry about me getting revenge from Diddy. I've got 3 moves that make sure he'll never be able to come after me or my family. First, I personally reached out to the victims' legal teams. The real reason he's not getting out is those buried cases behind the scenes. I provided legal funding for 7 victims who had been silent for years and brought in the top criminal attorneys in the country. Second, I bought up every potential post-release business deal he had lined up. I planned this 2 years in advance, so by the time he got sentenced and still had hope of getting out, every partner had already cut ties with him. Third, I don't just have evidence, I've got backups. This is an entire minefield that's been buried for 20 years. I uncovered every secret from the last 30 years. With testimonies from the victims, we interviewed over a dozen people he tricked, threatened, or violated. You think that's harsh? No, he destroyed other people's lives for decades. I'm just making sure he spends a few extra years in prison for it. I'm not afraid of his people, not afraid of his threats. I know he's still in there fantasizing about a comeback, but the truth is, he's never coming back.
Is this real life? I feel crazy. The world is spinning around me. What's happening? You have 4 eyes. I have 2 fingers. Ah!
3 moves, planned 2 years in advance, legal funding for 7 victims, every potential post-release business deal bought up and killed before Diddy even knew what was happening, an evidence archive built over 30 years with testimonies from over a dozen people. That opening statement is either the most calculated piece of strategic communication in entertainment history, or the most personal vendetta ever executed through a documentary. And knowing 50 Cent, the answer is almost certainly both simultaneously, because this is a man who has never once separated doing the right thing from making sure it costs his enemies everything.
Turn 16. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna let you rock this every time you come to LA. Yeah, this gonna be yours. So every time you come to LA, it's a little dusty, but you know, come get the front shot of this.
Man.
Head out. Minute.
Woo. Okay.
Okay.
All right, so I'm gonna be driving this next year.
Yeah, when you get 16, you come out, you gotta, you know, wear your seat.
I mean, I'm 15. You could ride in the passenger seat. I got my permit. Not yet.
No.
All right, 16.
You're not ready.
16.
Slow down. Let's slow down, Jess.
Okay.
Let's slow down. Okay.
One step at a time.
But yeah, the keys is yours when you get 16. You good to go.
I'm good to go.
Yeah.
All right, man.
And then when you get 18, you get the house. You get the mansion.
Okay. I get the mansion.
Yeah.
All right. So where are we off to now?
Where would you like to go?
I mean, wherever you want to go. Where are we going?
So check this out, yo. Justin, you ever seen the movie 48 Hours? Right now, he's having 48 hours with Diddy, him and his boy. They're having the times of their lives, like, you know, where we hanging out and what we doing. We can't really disclose, but it's definitely a 15-year-old's dream. You know, I have been given custody of him. You know, he signed to Usher.
I'm signed to Usher.
I had legal guardianship of Usher when you know he did his first album. I did Usher's first album. I don't have legal guardianship of him, but for the next 48 hours, he's with me. So and we gonna go full crazy.
I'm going crazy.
Crazy.
I'm taking this out tonight.
What you want to do? What you want to do over the next 48 hours?
48 hours. Let's go. Let's just go get some girls. Let's go hang with some girls.
A man after my heart. That's what I'm talking about.
That car clip, that specific footage of a teenager being told he's going to inherit a mansion, all just being handed the keys to a future that someone else is designing for him. That footage existed for years without generating anything more than celebrity gossip content. People watched it, filed it, moved on, but context is everything in how footage lands, and the context around that clip in 2026 is so fundamentally different from the context it was recorded in that watching it now produces a completely different emotional response. That's not the video that changed. That's the understanding around it that changed. And once understanding shifts, it doesn't shift back.
That's been saying for years, this man is having sex with underage. So now the federal government is looking at that like, yo, when is somebody going to come forward? We got this information, this alleged information, but nobody's willing to come forward. Then They go on and say, yo, Shakur Stewart mysteriously dead. Supposed to be a self-inflicted wound. Person that had everything going for him in their life. Kim Porter, dead. Somebody's car gets blown up. This guy is walking around threatening other actors, people. Somebody got to get involved in it. If it ain't the state, let it be the feds. Somebody got to stop him. He lucky that God given him the opportunity to be stopped while he's alive, didn't have to go to hell and face that shit. He got a chance to repent now, change his life.
You mentioned minors, you know, and a lot of people have been trying to drag Justin Bieber into this situation because there's a lot of like suspect looking videos with Diddy and Bieber in it, and you know, they're making a lot of allegations.
Names being placed alongside Diddy in this conversation aren't random. Shakur Stewart, Kim Porter, people who were close, who knew things, who are no longer here to say what they knew. Same the pattern being described. We meet the federal government sitting on alleged information while nobody came forward. The threats to actors and artists. The sense that someone needed to intervene before the intervention came too late. That's the specific framework that Gene Deal, Cat Williams, and now 50 Cent have all been building independently toward the same conclusion. When multiple people with different access points and different motivations all describe the same structure, the structure becomes harder to dismiss as coincidence or coordinated storytelling.
You know, Diddy bought his son a Bentley. Maybe, you know, he could buy you one also.
Got me a Lamborghini. And
Yeah. Oh, well, that's nice.
I haven't gotten it yet, though.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. When is that coming, that Lamborghini? We talked about this last
He
time.
had the Lamborghini for a day or two, and he had access to the house, and he knows better than be talking about the things that he does with Big Brother Puff on national television.
Well, apparently not.
Some things, everything ain't for everybody.
Justin Bieber's name entering this conversation doesn't happen in a vacuum. It happens after years of footage that nobody wanted to look at too carefully. Footage that at the time was packaged as celebrity access and behind the scenes fun and the magic of being a teenager in the orbit of the most powerful man in music. The 48 Hours clip, the Bentley conversation, the specific language used about custody and access and things that aren't for everybody to know about. All of it existed publicly, all of it was available, and all of it was processed as entertainment rather than as documentation. The shift in how people are reading that footage now isn't driven by new information. It's driven by the weight of everything that has since been confirmed about the environment those clips were recorded inside.
I heard that that's not only the tape that's being shot. There's some other tapes out there, other people too with him. And him doing some things with some other people. So it's quite a few tapes that might be out there, what they're hearing. And I don't want to see the tapes, but I want to know if they really true. Because if they got if they got some tapes out there and it's with some underage, whether it's celebrities or not, it's gonna be crazy, bro. It's gonna be real crazy. And they're gonna have to bring that to forefront because the prosecutor's gonna want those tapes. And they're gonna do whatever they have to do legally to get those tapes. No ifs, ands, and buts about it. So we just better hope for his sake.
Man who knew Puff Daddy before he was Diddy, before he was Love, before he was Brother Love, and then back to Diddy again, like sitting there saying a lot of this is by surprise, but it's not unheard of. That distinction is the one that keeps getting overlooked in this conversation. Not unheard of. That means the information existed. It circulated. It reached people who were close enough to have heard it. And those people made a choice. The same choice most people in that environment made, which was to file it away under things that happen in certain circles and keep moving. The surprise isn't the behavior. The surprise is that the behavior finally has federal consequences attached to it. And that surprise reveals exactly how long and how effectively the protection held.
If he's bigger than Diddy, and he's not none of the names that I said, probably so. But then they say he was young too.
Yeah, they say he was young.
Let me get his name right. I hope it ain't the Bieber. I hope it's not the Bieber.
That's a good one. It might be him. But if they saying that the guy is young and he's an A-lister, I can't think of that many black people, man.
Right. Not at all. And somebody that's more powerful, more of a celebrity than Diddy. You understand what I'm saying? If they were saying somebody that was more celebrity than Diddy, he was an A-lister, he was younger. You know what I'm saying? And if he's not black, it would have to be the Bieber. That's his name, Bieber? They said I got that wrong too. Justin Bieber, allegedly. I don't know, bro.
Right. But when you heard the news that Diddy, he had a tape with another man, did that catch you by surprise or no?
Well, all this shit is by surprise to me. A lot of this shit is by surprise to me, to be totally honest, man. Because I knew Puff, I knew Puff Daddy, I knew Diddy before he was Love and Brother Love and back to Diddy. So, no, but the diddler, he's the diddler now. A lot of it's surprising, but it's not unheard of. Because you hear of all kinds of shit, and whether it registered with you or you internalize it or something like that, that's a whole nother story. But a lot of this stuff is crazy. But this is the world that we live in now, man. That these individuals thinks is all right. Bruh.
50 Cent as the central organizing force of this narrative isn't accidental, because without that anchor, what you have is a collection of old clips, unverified claims, and speculation that gets processed as internet noise. With 50 Cent in the middle, someone with documented credibility on this specific subject, someone who was saying these things publicly before the federal indictment existed, someone with a production infrastructure capable of turning raw information into structured narrative. The same clips and the same claims suddenly have a spine. He gives the story a shape that makes it impossible to dismiss the way it was dismissed before. That's not manipulation. That's the difference between information and communication.
He fizzled out fast too.
So would you say someone like Justin Bieber is a victim? I just seen he is reportedly selling his whole catalog because he's broke.
Yeah. Yeah. And once he finishes getting that money, I don't understand why he's broke. He didn't have to be broke. Usher just wouldn't stop robbing him.
Damn.
I mean, Usher couldn't keep his hands out of his pocket. It's funny. He got him signed and turned over custody to Diddy. Boy was never the same, and neither was Usher's pockets, because Usher's been living off of Justin Bieber's money. He ain't been living off of his own. Because the truth is, Usher don't really make that kind of money. And I'm really just kind of sick and tired of Usher Raymond.
Yeah,
I'm really kind of disgusted with Usher Raymond, who does Greek wrestling nude with men over Frosted Flakes, allegedly. Like, I'm sick and tired of this guy who everyone knows got the Diddy bumps, who's been sued for passing them on and lost, is still sitting there disgracing women in front of their men who bought the tickets to like that whole skis.
He's causing a lot of divorce courts.
Yeah, but why? He don't even want them. He don't want them women. He's literally doing it just to destroy relationships.
The Usher thread is where the conversation extends from one man's crimes into something that looks more like a pipeline, because what's being described, knowingly or unknowingly, is a process. Young artist, one powerful mentor, transfer of access and influence, new custodian, different environment, changed person. That sequence, applied across multiple names, across multiple generations, stops looking like individual stories and starts looking like a system. And the reason that framing is uncomfortable for a lot of people watching is that it doesn't just implicate the person at the center. It implicates every layer of the industry that facilitated each transfer and profited from each outcome and asked no questions along the way.
A video of an interview of Justin Bieber, and he was talking about Billie Eilish, and he was like, he was broke, almost in tears. He's like, I just want to protect her. I just want to keep her safe.
Yeah.
What do you think he went through?
Because he knows what's been happening to Billy. Just like everybody knew what was happening to Millie Bobby Brown girl with Drake. These people are monsters.
Jermaine Dupri said something interesting.
Mm-hmm.
He said the reason that R&B isn't as powerful as it is anymore is because children are going to church.
Yeah.
What is it about the transfer from the spiritual to the secular that do you believe that's what made R&B so powerful?
Understand this. Rhythm and blues was a combination of gospel and soul music. Because soul music has always been around in one form or another. It's just evolved throughout the years. And you got gospel, rhythm and blues. That's what put that together. That's why they made such a big stink about the Ray Charles incorporating gospel sounds into secular music. Right. Because they wanted people to separate the two. This is demon, this is good. The truth is none of that's real. Right. There is no bad, there is no good. There is what is and there is what is not. And that's sad. But when you take the spirit that comes from that, and see, in church, they preach love, they preach love, they preach love. And God is love. The love that we experience, everything that we do, all of that is just a derivative from the endorphins that come from the relationship with God. It's all there. When you go and you sit in a place and you hear a song sung and it quickens you in your soul and you feel stirred up, how the hell can just a sound coming out of a mouth create all of that? That's God. So when you take God out of society, all you're left with are emotions, impulses, instincts. And that's what the fuck we got.
Right.
In music. He's absolutely right. If you take God's love out of something, all you're stuck with is the rudimentary shit, the sludge, fucking Gollum running around saying, my precious. You know, that's what you got.
And now, Jack, you spoke on Piers Morgan saying that you used to be in this world.
Yeah.
Of the sex worker world, and you've seen kind of the depravity that the human mind could go to.
Justin Bieber saying he just wanted to protect Billie Eilish. That specific moment, a grown man who was himself once a teenager in these exact spaces, watching another young person navigate the same industry, saying out loud that his instinct is to protect her. Now, that's the clip that reframes everything that came before it, because it's not a clip about what happened to Justin Bieber. It's a clip about what Justin Bieber knows happens, and what someone knows happens tells you something specific about what they experienced. You can't want to protect someone from something you don't understand, and the specificity of that protective instinct is its own kind of testimony.
Listen, bro. Just doing law enforcement myself, just take for instance. I think the individual was a Syracuse former basketball player named Jason Barnes or Beard or something like that. He already had drug charges against him. The day Diddy house get raided, they catch him getting on a plane and they put him into custody. Didn't that sound a little weird? People didn't catch that. They either put him in custody for a couple of reasons. You understand? One, to make a witness out of him, or to safeguard him and protect him for anything that could happen to him, because they had already stated, allegedly, that he was some kind of mule for the people over there at Diddy's house. So now, with that information, that he was already known by the government for drug charges, wouldn't that be an individual that you use? I'm going to give you something different. And I'm going to give you something else that people don't even think. On the other day, I seen on the video that Puff had ran into Justin Bieber. They met up. And he started tapping him as if he was searching him and see if he had some kind of device on. Did you see that?
Yep.
Check this out. What if the federal government have already talked to Justin Bieber? And Diddy did that on tape. That means in his mind, he think this person may be a witness. Right?
Yep.
What he has just done that is against the law?
Nothing that we've seen.
Tampering with a federal witness. If they have already talked to Justin Bieber prior to him doing that, he goes and look like he's searching him. It appears that he's asking Justin Bieber, yo, you got a wire or something like that? Like, you're tampering with a federal witness. That's a charge right there that can land him in jail. Reckless. That was real reckless.
Man, it's going to be kind of crazy to see everything unfold, man. Well, if worse comes to worse and Diddy has to do some time, how do you think he's going to handle it?
Usually individuals acclimate themselves into situations and they do the best that they can do. I just don't think him being a free spirit and off drugs, once he gets into that situation, that he'll handle it that well. I could be wrong.
A lot of people believe he's going to end himself.
Well, I heard him say that before when that City College incident happened. He was talking like that back then. Because he thought it was a possibility that he would be going to jail. He lost his job at Uptown. So He's done a lot of things, been a lot of places. I don't think he has the spirit.
Cultural observation about what happens when you remove the spiritual foundation from music and replace it with pure impulse and instinct. That's the philosophical layer underneath everything else being discussed. Because what's being described at every level of this conversation is a creative industry that lost its moral framework at some point and replaced it with access, but leverage, and the kind of power that operates without accountability. The shift from gospel to secular wasn't just musical. According to this framing, it was a shift in what the music was connected to and therefore what it was capable of protecting people from. Whether you accept that framework or not, the observation that something foundational changed and that the change had consequences that are now becoming visible is hard to argue with when you look at the evidence on the table. The Jason Barnes detail, the Syracuse basketball player arrested at the airport the day of the raid, is the kind of specific factual observation that gets buried under the weight of bigger names in these conversations, but actually tells you the most about how federal investigations actually work. You don't arrest someone on the same day as a raid unless that arrest is coordinated with the raid. You don't pick up a known associate at an airport without knowing where he's going and why. What's being suggested, that federal investigators were already building their witness architecture before the public even knew raids were happening, is consistent with how major organized crime prosecutions are constructed. The Diddy case didn't start the day the news broke, it started years before, and the arrests that happened around the edges of the main event were pieces of a structure being assembled methodically. And the moment Diddy reportedly searched Justin Bieber, physically patting him down in public as if checking for a wire, is either the most reckless thing a federal defendant has ever done on camera or exactly what it looks like from a legal standpoint. Witness tampering. If federal investigators had already spoken to Justin Bieber, if Bieber had already provided information or agreed to cooperate, and if Diddy then made physical contact with him in a manner that could be interpreted as checking for a recording device, that's not just optics, that's a chargeable offense. That's the kind of move that adds years to a sentence that was already measuring in decades, and the fact that it happened in public, on camera, with multiple witnesses, that's a man who either didn't understand how deep the net around him had already been cast or understood it completely and panicked anyway. The silence held for a long time. That's the sentence that this entire conversation keeps circling back to. Not just Diddy's silence about what he did, the industry's silence about what it knew, the media's silence about what was reported and then not reported, the silence of every person in every room where things happened that shouldn't have happened. That silence was maintained actively, professionally, and at enormous cost to the people it was maintained against. 50 Cent breaking that silence didn't start with the documentary. It started years before, with interviews, with Instagram posts, or with public statements that got dismissed as feuding or self-promotion or bitterness. And then one by one, the things he said got confirmed. The warning signs were always there. They were just buried under a silence that the industry found more profitable than the truth. Now the silence is ending, and what's underneath it is going to take a long time to fully surface.